What footage we look at, it's always replicated. He always stands in the exact same place with the exact same stance, which is rock solid with no movement in the upper body, and the back foot is firmly planted. Phil is so meticulous in his preparation, he even delivers the dart from his non-throwing hand to his throwing hand in a certain tempo, yet again making it easier to replicate previous success.
Just wonderful, superb darts from Taylor.
Notice the 90-degree angle under his armpit is mirrored on his upper arm at the point of release. The dart itself climbs in trajectory by some 12 inches, no matter what the target. Phil Taylor once told me about using a piece of cotton down the centre of the board. He would spend hours throwing at this piece of cotton to get his line of fire true and straight. Phil is also left-eye dominant, so brings the dart in line with the centre of his sight and upper body, with a line to the middle of the board, let's remember that cotton, and the floor and up through his torso and right between the eyes. This is why Phil throws very few stray darts. Taylor's throw has evolved into what we see today. Even a ballistics expert has been brought in to work on the place of release and the speed of release. You'll note that with Phil, the force of the throw is absorbed within the shoulder and not the elbow. A true master at work. The arm extension is smooth and rhythmic, yet again allowing Phil to replicate success with relative ease. If we built a robot to throw darts, it would look something like this.
Well, he isn't quite a machine, even though he plays well like one. What I have noticed over the last few days, actually, is how that science that you've alluded to extends to the fans, because when they get themselves organised with a glass, there's a nice straight angle, there's perfect 90 degrees, the shoulder and the elbow, till about 9 p.m. I found, then it wobbles.
125 degrees by about 9 p.m.
Loses a little bit of that planted left foot once there's 10 pints plus in the system.
For balance, that then.
Yeah. Is it just science?
A lot of it is. I mean, Taylor's throwing that piece that followed our afternoon programme. If you look at his throw back in the early 90s, it's a lot different to what it is today. You know, he's basically mastered the game and changed his throw to meet those requirements.
Yeah. Are you all evolving, Al, in terms of your throw? Is that something all professional players need to keep working at?
Well, they do now, because Phil's shown exactly what you need to do to get to the level he's at. He's set the pace, he's set the standard. You know, we saw today that a few people, well, over the tournament, that a few people have pushed him, even though he hasn't raised the 109, 110 averages. But that's what you need to do, not just to beat Phil, but to win a tournament now.
Let's hear from the man himself, shall we? Phil Taylor's had a word with Ned.
Well, here you are, in the semi-final, as expected. The route there has been not quite as expected, has it?
It's been difficult. I mean, I thought Colin played superb last round. He was his finishing was brilliant, and he stuck in there, and he looked very confident as well, which is nice to see. Actually, he's going back to the way he was, you know, a few years ago.
Talk about confident players. Young Paul Nicholson is breathing confidence, isn't he?
Yeah, he's another one. Yeah, he's a great player. Actually, when I first saw Paul play, didn't much for what he was doing. Now I like him. When I first saw him, obviously, you know, he was a different character, so I wasn't used to it. I sat at home, actually, in the Grand Slam watching him. I thought, what you doing? You know, he's getting booed and whatnot. But now, I quite like him.
This is an enormous ask for him, though, isn't it? I mean, a big stage and a big step up. So far in his career, this is as big as it's come.
Yeah, well, he's won things before, obviously. You know, he's a good player, and he's here. So he's no muppet, is he? So he's going to be another stepping stone. If I want to win the tournament, obviously I've got to keep raising the bar now. You know, raise the bar again and try and raise the bar for the final if I get through. So that's what you have to do.
We'd bet against you. Good luck.
Thank you.
That is Phil. He is up against a young man who's working hard to make a big impression in darts. Paul Nicholson wants to be the bad boy, wants to be the best player. He's doing a decent job so far.
Well, Paul, how's the preparation? Semi-final in a major against Phil Taylor. Really doesn't come much bigger than that, does it?
Not at all. I'm looking forward to this for a couple of reasons. One, I've worked really hard for this. I think this has come at the right time for me. Secondly, I owe Phil one. As far as I'm concerned, He denied me a spot in the Grand Slam in the German Championship about a couple of months ago. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to play my absolute heart out to see if I can get back in that tournament, get in the final.
Seen any cracks in the Taylor armour?
There have been this week. I don't think Phil has actually played as well as he possibly can. I think in his last match he showed a bit more of his absolute class that he obviously has. But I think that there are things that we can exploit there. If he gives me a chance, I think I'm going to take it.
A few mind games on the hockey. After all, Phil just told me he doesn't play the board, he plays the man.
Oh, let's play the man then. Let's have some fun. Why not? As far as I'm concerned, I get up there, have fun. Barry Hearn said to me a couple of weeks ago, I want you to cause some trouble this year, young man. Let's have some fun. Let's show the viewers what they want to see. Let's have a good versus bad.
Good luck.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
I tell you what, boys, he does talk the talk, doesn't he?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Look what ended up to my career.
Yeah, wind it forward, Paul. You could be Chris Mason. But listen, you have to talk the talk. You have to believe in yourself. I think he has self-belief.
Big difference between disillusional, though.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I was very similar to that and thought I could
conquer the world
and go up and challenge the great man. And once he's put you in your pocket, and if you upset him, look out, he'll come out with a vengeance.
You've been top of the tree, Al. How do you assess his potential? Can he be, at whatever point in the future, he's only relatively young and fit and healthy, can he be right up there?
Well, of course, I think his preparation's very good to me. His concentration, he's got his earphones on before he goes on stage. He's very confident, obviously, by the way he's speaking there, and he's also got the game, and he's improving all the time. He's not scared of anybody.
No.
And if you've heard the phrase, play the board, he's probably the best example, because he just goes on and looks at what he's doing, not what anybody else is.
Yeah, he hasn't, I think, got really sucked into playing the man so far. I wonder whether Phil's playing a little bit of mind games with him pre-match here by talking about playing the man rather than the board.
I think Phil does. I think he plays what's in front of him, and the better you play, he tends to play a little bit better. Phil's seen it all before. There's nothing you can do or say that's going to affect what he's going to do. I've tried it all. I tried it on live TV. We've all had a little pop at him over the years to try and disrupt him, and it just doesn't happen. I mean, I like Paul. I think he's a fabulous player, but you've just got to be a little, don't run before you can walk.
Sure.
Yeah.
He is, though, correct, is he not, in saying that perhaps there's been a chink or two in Phil's armour this week, Alan?
I wouldn't say a chink. He hasn't played his best, but that's only because people have put him under pressure for different reasons.
Right.
Peter Manley, obviously, difference in the game there was, obviously there's a bit of needle there. The second game, Terry Jenkins, not used to playing Terry in the early rounds, normally a semi-final or a final, longer distance. And then Colin Lloyd, played how Colin Lloyd can.
Yeah.
And put him under pressure right to the very end, and that was a fantastic game. So he's had 3 close games, but he's got through.
Yeah.
He's so good at getting through these. And also, Paul Nicholson is playing Phil Taylor here, who's a big favourite with the fans here, and he's not yet had the needle from the crowd.
Yeah, this is where, obviously, Paul's setting himself up as the bad boy.
That's right.
It can backfire if he's not careful, because he can't cope with the fact that the crowd will bait him like nobody's business in the next hour or so, then he'll fall.
Well, that's right. Eric Bristow was a master, but he proved the goods at the end. Now, Paul has talked the talk. He's got to walk the walk.
We're about to find out if he can indeed walk the walk. Mervyn King has coped with the heat, the pressure, the tension. He's through. Can Paul Nicholson possibly do what the others here this week have almost done and beat the power? I wonder. Second semi, Taylor Nicholson on its way.